There's something crazy happening in the world right now. Data from the General Social Survey says that the number of men under 30 who've not had sex in over 12 months has tripled in the past decade. Okay, look at this graph. Yes, it has tripled. This report came out in 2018, so the data is fairly recent, and I can only imagine that it's gotten worse in the pandemic. But regardless, the big question is that I want answered is, why is this happening? What's causing this rise of sexless men? So I dug a little bit deeper, and articles I've read suggest there are two reasons. But upon a deeper look and my personal experience coaching men, I have found that there's something much bigger at play, which is very important to you. There is a third factor. In fact, in my opinion, it's the main factor, the number one culprit, if you will, and it's something that I think is very dangerous, something that's destroying men's self-esteem and forcing them into loneliness. And it's happening as we speak, but no one is really talking about it, at least not the way that I'm about to talk about it. So for my convenience, I'm calling this little known but dangerous third factor the belief crisis. And as you watch this video, I'm going to tell you what that means and how it's hurting most men, most likely you. Plus, I'll also give you my take on how men can stop being so lonely and have a better love and sex life. So this video is packed with a lot of information, so please avoid all distractions, pay attention, and watch carefully. Let's dive in. I'm Marni, and from here on out, I'm going to be your very own personal wing girl. Every week, I'll give you the no BS insider information about what women really want versus what they say they want, and show you proven ways to improve your success with women. So please hit that subscribe button now so you can start learning what it actually takes to unlock the dating life that you desire. So before I dive into this very important video, I want to send a message to your penis, because after watching this video, your penis will need the information that I'm about to share. So, dear penis, I want you to stay safe and vibrant and healthy and always ready for ultimate sexual pleasure that will guarantee extreme pleasure for you and for her, which is why, penis, I'm so excited to tell you today about the video sponsor, Joy Mode. Joy Mode makes natural and science-backed sexual wellness products for men. Joy Mode was created because the products in the market, like prescriptions and over-the-counter gas station pills, are terrible and can hurt you in the long run. I would much rather you take a supplement designed to spice things up naturally rather than a prescription drug that can have harmful effects down the road. So, whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. You take it anywhere from 45 minutes to 5 hours before you have sex, and you can expect to get one of your best erections ever. So penis, if you want to spice things up in the bedroom and boost your sexual performance, and you want to do it naturally without nasty prescriptions and drugs, then give Joy Mode a try. All you have to do is go to usejoymode.com/Marni or enter Marni at checkout for 20% off your first order. That is joymode.com/Marni for 20% off your first order. Let's dig into male sexlessness. I don't know why I'm so cheery about that, because it's a very solemn topic, actually. First of all, let's quickly look at what the reports and data suggest about the rise of sexless men. So from what I have gathered from the reports, they're saying one primary cause of male sexlessness is delayed marriage. More and more people under 30 are choosing not to get married, and the number is higher than ever. And unmarried people have less sex in general. They just do, which is why the sexless population is growing. And the reason for this delay in marriage is education, or at least that's what the reports say. In today's world, more schooling is necessary for getting a good job, so people are spending more time on their education, which means marriage is getting pushed to a later age, leaving people companionless and lonely. Now, as per the reports, the second factor leading to this rise in sexlessness is men living with their parents, right? Apparently men are spending more time living with their parents as compared to the last few decades. And you've read all about this, so this should be no surprise to you, but there could be many reasons why this is happening. But the rising cost of housing comes to mind first. And per the data, it's evident that living with parents is associated with more sexlessness. Men living with their parents are more likely to be religious, more likely to be concerned about STDs, and more likely to face problems arranging a sexual encounter. And that's why it seems to be another big reason for sexlessness. Now, Those are the two factors leading to sexlessness according to the reports that I've read. But as I said before, I found that there's something much bigger at play. And I believe that this is the number one culprit behind the rise of sexless men. In fact, not only is this causing more men to have less sex, but it also has a terrible impact on men's mental health. And I call it the belief crisis. And here's what that means. Okay. So over the last decade, as I have coached hundreds of thousands of men, the one thing I've noticed again and again is how men's beliefs are shifting around the topic of women in dating. More and more men are starting to believe that they're fundamentally unattractive to women, that they cannot get an attractive woman to be with them sexually because they don't and can't have what women want these days. And this belief system is spreading like wildfire among men. And it has even given birth to the involuntary celibate community, or incels for short. I'm sure you've heard that term, which in turn has morphed into movements like MGTOW, which stands for men going their own way. So I actually remember the first time I heard all about MGTOW and incels. I was actually intrigued. It was a few years ago, and I was invited to a podcast by someone in the MGTOW community. And this person at the time was one of the leaders within that community. And I didn't really know what MGTOW was or who incels were. So I looked it up to prep myself. And from my limited research at the time, I found it all to be very interesting. It seemed to me that this movement was about men choosing to prioritize themselves and their lives over women. Men choosing not to chase after women and look after themselves first, which to me sounded amazing. It sounded blissful, and I loved it. Little did I know what was about to come. When I actually went onto the podcast, I was shocked and, to be honest, scared, because I discovered that this movement wasn't really about men focusing on their lives and going their own way, even though that's exactly what it seemed like, but it was far from it. These guys were angry and resentful. They were frustrated. They hated women. They had a very pessimistic view of dating and relationships, and it was all too much for me to handle. The comments that I got from guys after this podcast were filled with hate and anger. And even though I was genuinely scared at first, I could empathize with their situation. I know that hate and anger only comes from pain. And in this case, it was the painful belief that they don't and can't have what women want these days, that they are unworthy. And the worst part is I saw very quickly that this belief system was not exclusive to incels and the MGTOW people. More and more men are adopting this belief system. More and more men are starting to think they have no chance with beautiful women because they don't and can't have what women want. And it's so unfortunate because it's not their fault. This belief system is formed unconsciously. And although there are many things that can lead to this negative belief system, I feel the number one culprit here is the rise of online dating and social media. That's what I want to talk about for the next few minutes. The terrible effect that dating apps and social media is having on men. I feel like I'm getting preachy, but it's destroying their self-esteem and forcing them into loneliness. First, let's look at how the typical dating apps are designed. Think of the most popular ones like Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or Match.com. On these apps, people are forced to judge each other based on a quick look at profile photos and a few lines of a bio. There's no other option. Women can't judge you on your personality, your values, and behavior unless they meet you in real life. They have to judge you on what information is available to them. That means your photos and your bio are the ultimate difference maker. The better they are, the more matches you can get, which means the guys who are conventionally attractive, photogenic, and put a little effort into their bios, like good writers, will have the upper hand on dating apps. Now, add to this the male to female ratio on dating apps, which is completely in the favor of women. So last I checked, the male to female ratio on Tinder, the most popular app was around 9-1, meaning for every one girl that's using Tinder, there are 9 guys on there. With this overabundance of choice and the fact that your profile photos and bio are the only difference makers, it's obvious why the very few conventionally attractive, highly photogenic guys with decent bios get the most matches. When other guys with not as good photos and bios see this happen and themselves don't get any matches, they feel unattractive. They feel unworthy. They begin to believe they don't have what women value. And women only value the superficial stuff like looks, height, and money, etc. And this belief is further intensified by social media. So we're bombarded with pictures of hot, attractive women with tall, handsome guys who have fancy cars and big mansions and private jets and designer clothing. And the more that you're exposed to these kinds of imagery, the more you believe that women only want superficial stuff. And as your belief develops, something called the confirmation bias kicks in. So what's the confirmation bias? You've heard me talk about it before, but in simple words, it's our brain's natural tendency to single out evidence that confirms what we've chosen to believe, even if it's not correct or factual. Meaning, if you believe women only value superficial things in a man, your brain will single out evidence to confirm it. So if you believe that you're doomed and there's no point in dating, your brain will show you evidence to confirm that. For example, you might start noticing other men complain about their experiences with women, sharing horror stories about rejection, friend zoning, cheating, etc., and blaming women for being superficial. You might also look at your own life experiences and single out moments and events that confirm those beliefs. In fact, the truth is your brain will distort your experiences to match and support your beliefs no matter how incorrect those beliefs are. And this makes the beliefs stronger and stronger. They sort of build and grow by themselves. The brain's pretty freaking awesome, right? And that's what's happening to the vast majority of men these days. Dating apps and social media give them the wrong perception of what women want, and then the confirmation bias makes that belief extremely strong to the point they feel hopeless and worthless. And this hopeless attitude and lack of self-worth now leads to feelings of anxiety and insecurity, which compels guys to avoid talking to women, flirting with them, asking them out, and so on. After all, what's the point, right? They know that they can't get the girl. The girl is only looking for some tall, handsome multimillionaire. So why even try? And because they don't try, they don't get. And the sexless population grows. Now look, it's true that some women do only want the superficial stuff. They might value good looks or money or height or all these things more than anything else. But that is a small population. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that in real life, most women primarily judge men on their personality and behavior. And that's what women are naturally wired to do. It's biological. The problem is your beliefs might hold you back from accepting that reality. Because of your beliefs, by definition, they feel completely true. So look at the belief men have about height. So many guys are totally convinced that women won't date a guy unless he's 6 feet or more. Was that really the case? Is that true? Because a study published by Rice University showed that 49% of women want to date a guy who's taller than them. Now, the average height of a woman is 5'4". I'm 5'2", by the way. The average height of a man is 5'8". This means if you're 5'5" or more, you're going to have a shot with the average woman. And even if you're not 5'5" or more, you still have the other 51% of the female population who are open to dating you. So let's take another belief men have about women. The belief that women only want a really rich guy. Once again, this isn't true in real life. Studies show that women are equally turned on and attracted to guys who are rich and guys who are not rich, but show a high level of competence. Meaning, if you take a multimillionaire and a guy who's not nearly as rich, but a fairly smart and capable individual, women are equally attracted to them. Money isn't a huge difference maker. So look, the point I'm making here is a simple one. The online world feeds men a bunch of wrong beliefs about what women want, and these beliefs lead to feelings of worthlessness. Then those feelings of worthlessness compel men to avoid taking a chance with the women that they like, and in the end, make them lonely and resentful and sexless. And this is what I call the belief crisis. And with social media and dating apps becoming more and more addictive, it's really taking over the world like a pandemic. And in my opinion, to solve the belief crisis, here's what needs to be done. First of all, men need to stop relying on the online world to meet women. Yeah, the apps are convenient and simple to use, but as we discussed, the way things work on those apps do not reflect what works in real life. The online world is not reality, okay? Second, if you think you have no hope with women, you need to educate yourself on what women really want. Watch more of my videos. The best way to do this is by experimenting. Put simply, go out and talk to more girls. Leave your preconceptions at your house and go meet as many women as you can. Put yourself out there and just see what happens. You may be surprised to learn that you're not so hideous and unattractive after all. That the real world truly is very different and way more pleasant than you thought. That many girls are more than willing to talk to you and connect with you. If you want to take a shortcut and get a quick crash course on what women really want and how to give it to them, you can check out my best-selling course, How to Become a Man Women Want in 30 Days or Less. I put the link in the description box below, so go check it out. It's going to give you the most realistic view of what women really want in a man and how any guy can become attractive to women in less than 30 days. It's a no BS guide to unlocking your potential as a man and getting the women you want and deserve. There's no fluff. There's no sugarcoating in this program, just practical tips and tactics that bring out the best in you so you can talk to women effortlessly and land more dates than ever before. Thousands of men have used the secrets revealed inside this program to completely transform themselves and their dating lives and their sex lives. Guys who thought they were not good enough to talk to an attractive girl are now going out with the women most men would only dream about. And thanks to this amazing program, which I'm extremely proud of, you can learn more about it by clicking the link in the description box below. In my biased opinion, I firmly believe that this program will be the ultimate key to a better dating and sex life for most men. In fact, I've seen it work over and over and over again for hundreds of thousands of guys. And I see no reason why it wouldn't do the same thing for you. But that's just my opinion, right? If you want to test it out for yourself, click the link in the description below now. I am confident that you will not be disappointed. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this and listening to me preach a little bit for this video and watching it till the very end. I hope you found it insightful. And as always, I will see you next week.